Well, welcome back to the channel, guys. My name's Captain Redbeard. In this video, we're going to talk about what a faction led by John Cena might look like. Potential storylines, potential members, how they would go about what this might, how they would go about, how WWE would go about booking potential future storylines for this faction and incorporating new and upcoming and emerging talent into the faction. In previous videos, we've talked about what a custom championship belt for John Cena might look like should he win at WrestleMania 41, how the build up to that match might look like. But today we're going to have a look at what a faction for John Cena would look like and who the members would be. So in the aftermath of Elimination Chamber 2025, where John Cena executed a shocking heel turn by attacking WWE Champion Cody Rhodes and aligning with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Travis Scott, WWE now has a unique opportunity to craft a compelling heel faction led by John Cena. Here's a strategic approach to booking this faction. So we're going to break down the members at the moment. So starting with number 1, the faction's composition, John Cena. As the leader, Cena's portrayal of his long-standing face persona adds depth to his character, making him a formidable antagonist. Number 2, we have the final boss, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. In his alliance with Cena, he brings star power and a shared history, enhancing the faction's credibility. Number 3 is a controversial part of the faction, but we have Travis Scott. So despite the controversy surrounding his involvement and the injury to Cody Rhodes, integrating Scott as an outsider adds an unpredictability and mainstream appeal, which is why I think WWE have added him into this storyline. Now, at the moment, they haven't mentioned anything of The Rock while Cena has been cutting promos the past 2 weeks. Now, we do have another 2 weeks to go, so hopefully in the upcoming weeks, The Rock gets infused into this storyline with Cody and Cena. So, number 4, we also have emerging talent. So incorporating a rising star such as Carmelo Hayes. Potentially they could use him as part of the faction, and this would help elevate his career and also provide fresh matchups with different superstars and wrestlers. And the reason why I mentioned Carmelo Hayes is because he has expressed interest in facing Cena / working with Cena. So that could be a potential 4th member of the group. Now, we also must look at how this faction could incorporate the women, some of the women, so that they could then broaden and step into interfering and impacting the women's division as well. But we're going to get to that a little bit later. So at the moment, storyline development. So we have the formation and manifesto. It's really important that if there is going to be a faction for John Cena, that they articulate their vision and really make it clear to the audience what their motivations are. So on an upcoming Raw, down the track, after WrestleMania, Cena, The Rock, and Travis Scott can officially form their faction, potentially maybe even pre-WrestleMania, but we'll have to see which way WWE is going to go with that. So on an upcoming Raw, Cena, Rock, Scott officially formed their faction, articulating their vision to reshape WWE by eradicating complacency and targeting fan favorite wrestlers. So, targeted feuds. At the moment, we have Cena versus Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes definitely part of their mission to definitely work with him. He's the first feud that they're going for. So focus on Rhodes' quest for retribution after the Elimination Chamber assault, leading to high stakes matches that test his resilience. At the moment, it's been promos back and forth between Cena and Rhodes, further developing that heel character of John Cena, finding out why he did what he did, whether they're going to have a series of matches. After today, we found out that John Cena wants to take the championship and retire with the championship. So what I'm thinking is Cena's going over Cody Rhodes. We're going to have a new WWE champion at WrestleMania. Then there could be a series of matches. So Cody could face Cena at Black Backlash and then potentially SummerSlam. We'll have to see if they're going to stretch it out that long. Another feud is also CM Punk. So given Punk's recent promo against Cena and The Rock, Raw after Elimination Chamber, this has they can use this to intensify the rivalry with the personal attacks, brutal encounters culminating in a match down the line. Maybe we have Cena versus Punk at SummerSlam, or Cena versus Punk at a live event between SummerSlam and Survivor Series. Then we have the faction's involvement in the women's division. Now, they could interfere with top women on the women's division, such as Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill. This would be after WrestleMania, as they're already in a feud. We've got Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky. They're tied up doing their thing at the moment. Jade Cargill working with Naomi, based on the events of Elimination Chamber, and then Naomi explaining that she attacked Jade. So we could have the faction down the line interfering in their matches within the women's division. Then we also have faction warfare. So you could position the faction against established groups. Heel New Day, Kofi and Woods, potentially could have them wrestle the Usos. Maybe Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, bloodline stuff. Really, it depends on whatever way WWE want to take this, just to showcase Cena's faction's dominance. We also have media appearances leveraging Cena and The Rock's mainstream appeal, having them feature in faction interviews and talk shows, blurring the lines between entertainment and reality. Faction could also utilize social media. We've seen that in the past with Drew McIntyre and CM Punk's rivalry last year. Effectively used Twitter. We had Drew being an absolute beast on Twitter, just trolling the crap out of WWE fans, posting memes, all that stuff to just enhance their rivalry and feud. So utilizing Twitter and other social media platforms to share behind the scenes content of maybe training sessions with the Cena's faction, promos engaging with fans post Raw, post SmackDown, just behind the scenes stuff, building anticipation for any upcoming matches that the faction has. And then obviously releasing new branded merchandise for the faction, capitalizing on the group's notoriety, attracting both wrestling fans and broader audiences with the mainstream appeal of The Rock, Travis Scott. Long-term vision we have could be a potential betrayal and power struggle as the faction's influence grows, sowing the seeds between an internal conflict between Cena and The Rock, leading to Rock Cena 3 down the line. I know John Cena has said that this is his last year, but what I'm thinking is they may stretch it out. They may say, Cena may say, it was all a ruse, I'm not retiring now, or I'm retiring a little bit later. Then you could have Rock Cena 3, maybe at WrestleMania 42 next year, or at a SummerSlam next year. WWE really have so many directions that they could go if they were to do a full faction with Cena. And then the elevation of new stars, so utilizing the faction's platform to elevate emerging talent, setting the stage for future main eventers who can carry the company forward. So by meticulously crafting this heel faction narrative, WWE can invigorate its programming further, offering fans fresh and engaging content that honors wrestling's story traditions of compelling storytelling. They could, if they were to, they could involve a lucha aspect, so taking some wrestlers with a lucha background. They could take one of those wrestlers, infuse them in the faction. Then you could have matchups between them. The Judgment Day, Penta and Phoenix could be the face team against whatever luchador decides to join Cena's faction. It's just a whole different ways that WWE could go with this. Now I mentioned WWE Women's Division and how this faction could impact that. So we're going to break that down and look at which women would be best positioned to join John Cena in a faction. So if Cena's heel faction is built on philosophy of rejecting modern WWE norms, potentially including emphasis on women's wrestling, then it would make sense for the group to have female members who align with that ideology. Who would that include? We're going to have a look at that now. So these women wouldn't necessarily oppose women's wrestling, but could represent a more old school feel, dominant, anti-mainstream attitude. So we've got number 1, Tiffany Stratton. She has the arrogance, athleticism, charisma to fit a dominant Hollywood-style faction. She could embrace the faction's old-school mentality while still competing in top-tier matches. Number 2, we have Nia Jax. If Cena's faction is about brute force and disruption, Nia Jax is the perfect enforcer for the women's division for that faction. Her history of injuring opponents, both kayfabe and in real life, see Becky Lynch, and see Rhea Ripley as well for injuries, would be perfect to adding to the faction's chaos. Number 3, Chelsea Green. Someone who constantly complains about management and her booking. She would fit the faction perfectly as an opportunistic heel. Number 4, we have Lola Vice. Her MMA background and rising star power in NXT, she could be positioned as the faction's heavy hitter in the women's division. Again, could be talent that is already on the roster, could this faction could take talent from NXT and elevate them. And number 5, if we're going to go with an old school veteran who could join the group, Melina. If the group wants to play off Cena's past, Melina could return as a manager or a mouthpiece or a mentor to train the other female members of the group, and this would also add a nostalgia factor. Now, the faction's approach to women's wrestling, they could interfere in women's matches to make a statement, either by walking out of the match or actively sabotaging the match. They could push the idea that the only star power matters, positioning themselves as above the rest of the division. Cena himself may refuse to acknowledge the women's division, allowing female faction members to handle it on their own. And finally, as a question to ponder, would you want them to outright reject women's wrestling or just take an elitist stance that only certain women deserve the spotlight? That's it for the video today, guys. Post your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on who would be best in a faction for John Cena, which women you would put in the faction, who would you have in there? Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. Our next video, we're going to look at other ways, other things that are happening within WWE, other storyline directions. We're going to break it all down, and I'm going to share my thoughts on things. So, thank you so much for listening. Once again, post your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks, guys. Bye.